this extradition. Do you agree?
I don't agree at all. I think that the evidence that the Home Secretary has had is very clear that there will be real risks to the health and well-being of Gary McKinnon if he is extradited to the United States. The reality is that he committed this crime, which he's admitted, in the UK. He could be tried in the UK. The Home Secretary could decide that he should be tried in the UK, and he should. And the Home Secretary has decided to put the provisions of an unfair and unequal extradition treaty with the United States ahead of the interests of a vulnerable citizen of this country. And frankly, the Home Secretary is acting more as an American poodle than as a British bulldog.
The Home Affairs Select Committee would take your view perhaps as well, or perhaps not in that language. In terms of the judicial review, what sort of chances of success there, do you think, given the time frame that Gary McKinnon's solicitors have been given?
Well, I have no doubt that the campaign to make sure that Gary McKinnon faces justice in this country is such a strong one that there will be the money and there will be the goodwill to make sure that everything will be done to try and make sure that this decision is overturned. And if that takes judicial review, there will be judicial review. This is a very vulnerable man with Aspergers Syndrome who admitted his own crime. There's no question of him attempting to cover it up, and yet he is still not being treated here in the UK as a British citizen facing British justice. I think that's simply wrong. This is a bad decision from the Home Secretary.
What more do you think could be done, though, regarding the extradition treaty with the United States? Because all legal commentators and experts seem to agree on one point, that the burden of proof is far higher for the British authorities than it is for the United States authorities.
Well, the Liberal Democrats were the only party to vote against this extradition treaty when it came through the House of Commons, and I think we've now been vindicated in the application of it. The reality is that we have to have extradition arrangements which are entirely reciprocal and should not give one side a much greater ease of extradition than the other. And what we have now with this treaty with the United States is a frankly unequal and unfair arrangement where it's much easier to extradite from the UK to the US than vice versa. And we need to put that right. It has to be a very high priority for the next government to do exactly that.
And just in a couple of words, how optimistic are you that Gary McKinnon will be able to stay in this country?
Well, this is frankly a tremendously disappointing blow to the hopes that Gary could stay in the UK. It's not the end of the road, but we're getting very perilously near the end of the road. And I think the Home Secretary's made a deeply disappointing and deeply wrong-headed decision here to put the interests of American politics ahead of the interests of a British citizen.
Chris Hume, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. It's 9:51.